Welcome to the Socially Unfiltered podcast,
where we'll be taking you along for our deep dives and doom scrolls through social media, entrepreneurship, and pop culture.
We're your hosts, Lex and Veronica, and together we're looking at everything through an unfiltered lens on the things that shape our everyday lives and society.
So grab a drink and get ready to explore the uncharted territories of online trends, share candid conversations, and uncover the stories behind the headlines.
This is the Socially Unfiltered podcast.
Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome to episode 40.
Oh my God, it's our 40th episode?
It's our 40th episode, baby. Our podcast is almost 1 year old.
That's so cute.
It's kind of crazy, like 12 weeks from now.
Most people quit after like what? What's the statistic? It's like 20 episodes or something?
Yeah, something very
I think we
very
said
low.
it at one point during one of ours, like what we each made it to on our podcast.
I know, I don't even remember now.
I don't either. I think I made it to like 11 or something, and then we combined.
That was a different lifetime.
Dude, that feels like forever ago when we were like, wait, why don't we just do it together? Like,
no, if you think about it, it was a year ago in May.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God, we were in Nash a year ago. I want to go back.
I know, me too. I think we should.
Okay.
Okay, right now.
Okay, we're booking a trip in May. I already have a trip, but I'll book another.
We'll fit it in. We'll pencil her in. She's important too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have lots of exciting things coming up.
Yes. We both have exciting things coming up, and
next month.
This weekend I will be with Lex. So by the time you're hearing this episode, I will be in Charleston.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, next month going to Dallas, visiting Gabby, having our engagement photos done. That's all the trips I have, though. Just 2.
They're just for exciting things.
Because I refuse to leave the Cape in the summer. I won't be going over the bridge.
Get it all out now.
Exactly. I can't travel until October. Literally, yes. Yes. If you know, you know, the Cape, the bridge, it's a scary, scary thing.
I mean, I don't blame you. Just landlock yourself on the Cape until the chaos is over.
Yeah, the Cape is when people, or the summer is when people come to us, and the other 6 months of the year, we go other places.
You're like, the other 6 months, we get out of here. That's how Charleston is too. I mean, everybody comes here for vacation, and it's always just funny. I'm like, this is just like every day, another day for me. Literally. And this is like the most exciting time of somebody's life.
Same. I didn't even go to the beach, I don't think, one time last summer. I didn't get a beach sticker. Oh no, I went to a beach, like a private beach with my friend. She like has one down the road, and we just biked there. And I went there like twice, but I never got a beach sticker. And I'm like, people live for this. Like,
yeah,
it is so crazy to think about. Like, I can't imagine not living by the beach, but it's funny to think about. Like, people literally wake up at 7 a.m. They're in that line for the beach parking lot. They're like there all day with their kids. Like, it's so, but it's cool though. I think I wish we could experience it as like tourists.
Right. I mean, we're going to play tourist while you're here this weekend, even though I don't ever play tourist in Charleston, but it's the same thing. Like, I try to not take it for granted, but it's also like, it's the same thing we said with skiing. Like, I'm sure there are people, I mean, I'm from upstate New York where we would have people come to our town to like snowmobile, like ski, snowboard. And it's just not something that people have all the time. So it's funny. Like, I'm sure there are people, you know, looking at us in the ski line being like, I can't believe they're waiting that long for that. But like the beach, I don't know. I'm just such a Debbie Downer. I feel like the beach is so overstimulating for me.
Like the beach at all.
The sand, oh my God, it never goes away. And like, I have such a weird thing where like, if I can't run my hands under like running water to like wash them, my whole body feels dirty.
Like some people love the feeling of like being salty and like not washing their hair after the beach. Like I can't stand the salt. And I hate to like complain because I live in a beautiful place and like I should appreciate the beach, but like I hate the feeling of being sticky, sandy, and like sand in between your freaking butt crack and just like I can't.
Everywhere. Your hair, your car, it literally never comes out. And that's why, again, I try not to take it for granted.
Sunscreen everywhere.
here, yeah, I hate the feeling of sunscreen. Literally, if you're an esthetician
Same.
listening to this, don't. I hate sunscreen.
Same,
Like,
all over
hate
your
it
and,
more
like, then
than
it's in your hair and you just feel and you're
mhm,
sweaty and you smell. Sorry,
mhm.
I know this is
I just prefer a
so
pool. Like, I would
negative.
rather go to a
Same,
pool. Like, it's
same.
not that I don't like the activity of that, but if you're going to do a beach day, like,
Mhm.
I have so many friends, and I mean, I definitely did this at one point or another, but, like, go to the beach and then immediately leave and go out, and I'm like,
Yes.
"I just cannot I can't hang like that anymore."
Mm-mm.
I'm way too I need to, like, fully wash my hands, I need to fully wash my face, I
My
need to
body,
get the
my
salt water
hair.
out of my hair. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm just
Yeah, when you're
I
here,
get
we'll be
really
going to the pool, and we can drive by the beach with our coffee.
That's the thing. I will go, like, sit on the beach. Like, I will go take a blanket and sit and, like, bring food, watch the
Oh, like, at
sunset,
night,
whatever.
yes, I
Yes,
will do that. I will do that.
but, like,
Clothes.
going and laying out I also, like, don't lay out. I mean, first of all, I'm pale as fuck, so I just burn. Second of all, like, I get so bored. I don't know how people, like,
Yeah,
sunbathe for hours.
yeah.
I just get so bored. Like, I can't keep my eyes shut for that long.
We can play games and play mermaids in the pool.
Do it but that's what I'm saying, don't invite me to the pool today.
Claire!
We're not, like, getting in the pool.
Claire and Emma will be playing in the pool. With your
I will
mermaid
risk
hair.
this weave to get in the pool.
Yes, exactly. I know, it's yeah, that's why, like, going on vacation, like, with Mark, he can't sit still. I can sit there and, like, read a book for a little bit, but I can't just, like, sit
I
for a
can't.
while and just be doing nothing, like, sometimes I'll fall asleep, but he needs to be doing something, like, all the time. He can't just sit and be bored. So, like,
That's me.
on vacation, we're always having to, like, do the fucking excursions and shit.
See, that's so me and Ethan would be totally fine not. I mean, he likes doing things, but he can, like, chill. Like, when we lived in our apartment and had the pool I mean, we have a pool in our neighborhood now, but we have to drive to it, which when we lived in the apartment, we were literally right next door to it. Ethan would go, like, lay out at the pool for, like, an hour and then, like, come home and shower and go to work. And I'm like, "I just, like, can't."
No, I can't do
I
that.
don't know. He just, like that's his jam. He loves that. And I'm like, "I cannot sit still for."
See, also, that's the hard part about working a shift later in the day because I feel like and we've talked about this too when we were, like, waitresses or bartending or whatever, like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I need to prepare for my shift for 6 hours.
I can't be doing something at 2 p.m. if I have to work at 4.
No.
That's
People would be like, "Let's
asinine.
grab
That's
lunch at
insane.
12:30." I'm like, "No, I need to rest." Like, I have to work in 4 hours.
What was the meme you sent me? It was like, "How does anybody get anything done when I can't stop thinking about how in 1 hour it will be 1
1
hour
hour
later?"
later. That's so true,
That's
though.
literally me. I also have this
Yes.
horrible habit where it's really hard for me to start tasks if it's not an even number on the clock. It's, like, actually
Mhm.
really fucked with my life a couple times.
Yeah,
Like
that's it's called OCD.
right. Like, looking at the clock right now, it says 11:51. Like, if we weren't doing this and I was just, like, working, I would be like, "Oh, I can't start, this person's content until 12 p.m.
12.
exactly."
Yeah.
Like, that's so bad. That's, like I should probably be medicated or go to therapy for that, but it's
Well, it
fine.
makes sense because 'cause you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna need, like, 3 hours, 12 to 3." Like, that's
Right. I can't do
it's like a
11:52.
visually pleasing
Yeah.
number. Yeah, I get
Even,
that.
like, on the calendar, like, I try so hard not to schedule things for, like, 11:30. Like, I try to do, like, solid numbers only.
Yeah.
I'm just such a psychopath. But no, if something is within, like, 2 or 3 hours of having to go into a restaurant to work, like, I'm
Oh my god.
not.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there were days I would literally go get drunk before my shift and then go in. I'm like, "How did I
Oh,
do that?"
yeah,
Like, I don't understand.
I know. I think this is before we, like, reach a certain age because, yeah, like, literally we'd be out until, like, 3 a.m. and then wake up
Yeah.
and go to your shift for 9 o'clock, and then you work
Mhm.
a double, and then you do the same thing, and we were just fucking built different. If you have worked in the restaurant industry, like,
You deserve an
kudos,
award.
you know, and I feel
For
like,
sure.
honestly, everyone should have experience in the restaurant industry simply just to know how to, like, treat people and
Literally to speak to
service
human
workers.
beings.
Yes, like, some people I go out to dinner with and the things they say or, like, the things they ask there's, like, memes about that too. You're like, "Thank you so much." They pour water, "Thank you." They, like,
They
take
could
away
pour
you
water
stack
on
the
my
plates
head.
for them, like
I
yeah,
will not send my food back. I will eat whatever you put in front of me.
people-pleasing tendencies.
That's what I'm yeah, that's also probably something I should go to therapy for.
Honestly,
I'm
yeah,
eating foods I'm allergic to.
I need to find a therapist, and I've been saying this to myself for, like, 2 years now, that I need to find a good therapist. Because honestly, like, not that anything's, like, wrong, nothing I need to, like, get off my chest right now, but there's definitely traumas. Like, there's shit
Wha
I
I
need
mean,
to
we
talk about.
accidentally unearthed one yesterday. It's not funny. I'm literally texting Veronica this, like, crazy thing that happened, like, with people that I know, and she's like, "Oh, wow, like, that just made me remember this thing," and I'm like, "I'm so sorry." She's, like, laughing about it, she's like, "Haha, no, it's okay." I'm like, "I'm actually so sorry that I, like, just ripped the wound off of like, ripped the Band-Aid off." I did not mean to. Yeah, so every day we're,
Oh my
approaching
god, okay.
our late well, you're approaching your late 20s
Oh
and
god.
still unearthing things every day. I'm 30 and still unearthing things every day. But I
You
mean, like, in
know
all seriousness, I'm such a huge
oh
advocate for therapy.
god.
I don't even think you need to have anything wrong, like,
No.
actively in your life. I think everybody has things that they will feel better just saying, and, like, there's lots of
Yeah.
things that I mean, I don't wanna say lots of things like I'm hiding a lot of things in, but, like, there's things that just, like, don't make sense to say to somebody else, even if they don't, like, know the people involved, like,
Right.
there's so that's our
There's
spirit guide saying, "Yeah, bitch, enroll in."
He said, "Love this conversation, ladies."
They're like, "Keep going, queen, you're almost
Yes.
there. You're almost
This is the
healed."
first step in realizing you have a problem.
Yeah. March 18th, 11:56 AM. Noted.
It's
The
true
worst
though.
part is, like, when you go to therapy and, like, you see them just, like you're saying something and they're like,
I've never
writing
been,
notes, and I'm like,
so
"What are
I
you
don't know what
writing
they
about
do.
me?"
Yeah, I don't even know what to, like, look for, what the vibe is, but exactly, I think it's good to, like even when you're just, like, happy, talking about
Mhm,
that too is
mhm.
important, not just when, like, things are going wrong, but
Well, it's also, like, a lot of people will wait until there's so much wrong, and then they go
yeah.
into it thinking it's gonna be, like, a 1 or 2 visit type of immediate fix for everything that's wrong, and it's not. Like, a lot of what therapy is even just, I remember the first therapist that I went to, we literally started she was like, "I want you to start by telling me anything that's, like, bothering you right now, but then in the next session, we're gonna go a little bit further into, like, things that might not have anything to do with this." So, like, it's best if you start with somebody when there is nothing wrong,
Mhm.
because then you can just, like, explain to them what your everyday life is and, like, what is a little bit more normal to you so that they
Yeah.
can see the signs of, "Okay, this isn't normal." Like, it's going to a therapist when you're at your lowest, I don't wanna say is ever a bad idea, like, go literally whenever you finally
Mhm.
have, like, it in you to go, but even if you're in an okay place now, it is a good thing to look into, and I mean, I don't want to I was gonna say, like, in terms of looking for one, I feel like there's a lot of things you can do, but I feel like that's also a road I don't even wanna, like, go down. I'm like, I don't wanna be giving, like, actual therapy advice for what to look for because I think it's so different for everybody. Like, I know me personally, I will only go to a female therapist.
Yeah.
Like, I won't go to a male. That's
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
nothing
yeah, same. It's like a doctor, like a dermatologist, like, I
Yeah.
always just feel more comfortable with a female, and it's hard, like, finding stuff in network too, because like,
Yes,
obviously,
that's,
you
like, a
would
whole
ideally, you want but I have found, like, therapists on TikTok that I'm like, "I would vibe so well with this girl," like, she's, like,
Mhm.
younger and, like, just everything that I would wanna kinda talk about, and then I look and I'm
Mhm.
like, "Okay, well, it's, like, $250 a session for, like,
Right.
an hour," and I'm like, I don't know." So
Like,
that's
is
hard
that
too, the
really
financial part of it is, like, not a lot of people
right.
are in network. I mean, there are though, like, I just need to try harder to actually look, like, if you're really
Well, right, I'm sure
unhappy
you haven't, like,
no,
sat down with the
no,
goal of, like, coming
no.
out of it finding one for
I was
sure,
like, "Let me
but
just
that's
do a quick search," and then I did
right, let
see
me
what I
quick
wanted to see, and I was like,
see.
"Okay, bye."
But, like, that's what's hard too is, like, there's so many different therapists that, like, work in different ways, like, there are ones that will never talk to you about childhood trauma because that's just, like, not what they believe in. There's ones that
Mhm.
will only talk to you about things that have happened in the past and not so much, like, what's happening right now. There's ones that will use, therapies and exercises, like tapping and stuff that, like, bring in different tools for you to use, like, there's just so many different ways you can go with it, and, like, yeah, just finding one that you vibe with, and it just sucks because it's not, like, a cheap thing to, like,
Mhm.
try out. Like, you're dropping, like, hundreds of dollars every time you try a new person.
I think I just
So
need to be hypnotized.
stop.
Just,
I
like,
was
bring me
literally
back to every, because like, I told you, there's so many parts of, like,
Mhm.
childhood, even, like, middle school, even, like, parts
That's
of high
gotta
school I
just, like,
don't really
repressed
remember.
down there.
Yeah, I'm like, I really don't like, I was with one of my middle school friends, like, a couple months ago, and she's, like, talking about all these different, like, things we did or, like, funny memories and stuff, and I'm like, "Why don't I remember that?" Or it could be just
Yeah,
a bad
that's
memory, though, like, also, I'm not just saying, like, "Oh my god, all this trauma happened to me," like, no,
Oh,
I'm
no,
just
I don't
like,
remember good or bad things a lot of the
yeah.
time.
Like, it would be a funny memory, and I'm like, "Why don't I remember that?" And she
Right.
remembers it so vividly, or, like, other
Mhm.
instances she remembers of us, and I'm like, "Why don't I remember that?" Like, it's
Mhm.
concerning, but, again, our brains have been fried for years with social media, so that's probably why.
Wait, I need to go back to the hypnotizing thing because I went down a rabbit
Oh,
hole, like, 2 nights ago, and I seriously almost posted on my story asking if I know anybody who has ever been hypnotized, not for, like, anything specific, but, like, so I started going down this rabbit hole because I saw this video of it was some podcast, and they had this guy come in and, like, hypnotize the one guy, and he's like, "Okay, when you open your eyes, you're gonna see all of your friends as aliens." And this guy, like,
Jesus.
he's looking at his friends, and he's like and then, like, looking at the hypnotist guy, and he's like, it he genuinely looks scared, and I'm like, obviously anybody can, like, play into that, but, like, the way and then he was like, "Nope, you're going back to sleep." And then he was like, "And now you recognize everybody." And, like, I just want like, I have a friend who's been hypnotized to quit smoking, and they haven't touched a cigarette since. If hypnotizing is real, like, if there is somebody who, with their words and with their movements, can, like, completely change the way that your brain is operating, why do people not believe in things like the law of attraction or, like, positive affirmations? Like, it's just
Yeah,
so weird to me that somebody could possibly see this video of this guy being hypnotized and convinced all of his friends around him are aliens. But when I'm or us, when we're like, if you wake up every day and say like good
yeah.
things are gonna happen, like good things will happen. So that I went down this like serious rabbit hole where I was like, what exactly is hypnotism? Like, what is it doing to your brain?
I'm definitely intrigued in that, and I would love to, like, talk to somebody too. Maybe we can find somebody on TikTok, bring them on the podcast, talk
Mhm.
about their experience, or find a hypnotist and
Like, I want it to be done to me.
yeah, same. Have you seen the movie on Netflix? It's, like, Hypnotize, I think it's called. It was, like, a scary movie, like a thriller.
Mm-mm.
Um, it was good, and it was about this man who, like, it was scary. Wait, well, Hypnotize? It was Hypnotic, that's what it was called.
Oh,
It's,
maybe.
a young woman seeks self-improvement and enlists the help of a hypnotist, but the hypnotist engages her in a lethal game of mind manipulation. Yeah, it was, like, highly recommend watching Hypnotic on Netflix, but that would, like, scare me from
Well, I was
going
just gonna say, maybe we shouldn't finishing out our let's try therapy with a movie about how a woman gets, like, taken advantage of under hypnotism.
do
Oops.
this at your
Alright, well,
own
we were
risk,
on a good path there
um,
for a while.
do your own research at your own risk. We're not liable for anything you do.
And maybe don't watch this movie before you start your therapy journey,
Yeah.
but
Well, this is, like, that's about hypnotizing, not about
hypnotism,
really.
yeah.
Separate. But yeah, I think everyone could benefit from therapy, like, whether you're in a good or
Mhm.
bad place, like, it's just good to have an unbiased opinion, I think, because we can talk to our
Mhm.
friends for days. They can give us the advice, but they're not professionals and, like,
Mhm.
you're really not uncovering every deep
Same.
trauma and yeah, unloading that and getting, like, actual medical advice. So
Right.
it's kinda nice to have an unbiased opinion sometimes, I think, where, like,
Yes.
they're not related to any scenario or know the people around you and just some things you don't wanna go to friends about maybe, like, that you're
Mhm.
embarrassed about or, like, scared about. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's definitely on my list this year. I need to prioritize it, but
I mean, I haven't talked to mine in a while, so I'm not, like, doing any better.
yeah, it's tough.
Oops.
It's tough. to accept help
It do
if
be
we
tough
need
out
to.
here. Just
Totally
raw
sorry
dogging
about
life.
what we were trying to talk about, but
I
what's
know,
new?
oops. So, well, now that we have had our therapy little
Yeah.
journey, which I'm actually kinda glad we just talked about that because I feel like
Yeah,
that was good. I
that
hope
was
that
good.
there's somebody who, might hear that and maybe because we're having an open conversation about it, think it's not as, like, stigmatized.
Not
I just think it's one of those
taboo.
things where it's like, "You're not supposed to have feelings, so don't
Mhm,
go." And I'm like, "I don't know. Therapist is just kinda like a friend that, like, you
mhm.
just get to, like, catch up with every once in a while." But speaking of catching up, let us rewind what we should have done 24 and a half minutes ago. So circling back to our catch up corner,
Yes.
we okay, I need to tell you this because I had, like, a little moment last week where I was just, like, really fucking happy, and I was, like, on the verge of crying, and I almost called you or,
Aw,
like, texted you about it, but then I was like, "No, like, let me just save it for this." So, last week
stop.
we talked about how last week we talked about how we switched platforms for what we're recording the podcast on, and
Yeah.
I just from editing our episodes and listening back can see a huge difference just from using this platform in the way that our episodes flow. We're not waiting. Like, because I don't know if we actually
Mhm.
talked about this on here, but the reason
No.
we switched platforms was because our old platform was freezing. Like, in the middle of our conversation, we would have to wait a couple minutes for it to like catch back up. And like, it
Mhm.
was just really throwing our vibe off. So, making a switch to a new platform, I think was a little intimidating because we had only been using the other one and we don't know this one and it
Yeah.
was gonna be something we had to learn, but being able to make that change, like, just between the 2 of us was I think one of the best things that we have ever done, and it really just made me think about how many times in the past I've worked either at places or with people, like clients or whatever. Mostly this was me thinking of it in terms of like corporate jobs that we've had, but like how many times would you go to somebody and be like, "This process or like this system isn't working, and I think it would be
Mhm.
so much better this way." And they're just like, "Sorry, protocol, like, can't change it,
Yeah.
not a shot. Nope, gonna have to adapt to this or it's not gonna work." And it's like, there are so many things that we have, like, complete power to change to make things better that, like, just
Mhm.
thinking of us making a simple choice like that, I personally think just made the podcast 100 times better, and it's, like,
Mhm.
so frustrating thinking back of all the times that, like, you're trying to convince somebody isn't working and it's their business, so it's not up to you, and because
Yeah.
they don't wanna learn a new system and they don't want the, like, pressure of having to add something new,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating, and, like, I just had this moment last week where I was like, imagine if this was something that was like a job that we were doing under somebody else and we had to go like try to convince them why we need to change platforms and they're like, "Nope. Sorry, Riverside is all we know, so it's what we're going to use."
Yeah.
Like it just is crazy to me I think how much potential is like shoved down because it's seen as new or a change or
Yeah.
adapting or like whoever's in charge just doesn't want to make that change. So I just like had this moment last week where I was really happy with
That's so
what we
sweet.
do.
Yeah,
Like it just made me so happy.
I love that. I don't wanna cry, but that's so cute. It's
There's just been so many times don't okay, well, don't actually. It's a long day, it's only noon. You can't
I
cry.
therapy?
No, literally,
Why
this
do I
is
always
our
cry?
And why do I cry when somebody says
I
one nice
cry
thing to me?
literally, I'm like, "You tell me you were happy?" I'm like, "I love that. So happy." Literally, I'm crying.
I
God,
mean, let it out. We're already here.
I can't wait to cry together.
I know.
That's yeah,
We should
no,
make a list right now of
that's
everything
so
we
true.
wanna
People
cry about while you're here.
yeah, a lot. First of all, when I see you, immediately. It's
I
on site.
am it's on site. Tears
Literally.
will be flowing.
Ugh,
I'm gonna
no,
park
I love
illegally.
that, and I feel like there's been so many things that we have been working on, which we'll get into, but
Mhm,
it's not, like, easy stuff to do or, like, decide on, but I feel like we have such an open mindset to things, like,
mhm,
even about, like, an editor for our episode, we were, like, exploring that option. We're like, "Okay, well, let's just try it out for a month." Like, I remember we had that conversation if we, like,
mhm,
at one point don't have the time to, like, do the clips or, like, edit the episode, whatever it is. Right now, we're doing
mhm,
everything ourselves. Um, But, like, it's just that mindset of, like, "Okay, well, let's try it," because the worst that can happen is one of us doesn't like it, and then we just go back to, like, whatever we were doing before.
Back
But
to
if
the
it's gonna
drawing
make
board.
your life easier or, like,
Mhm.
I don't know, improve the podcast like this has, because I know we were both, like, nervous to switch. We're like, "Well, we've never tried anything." We had that
Right.
episode our last episode was on not this past one, but the one before that was on Zoom. So that kinda
Mhm.
sucked because the quality was, like, not
Yeah,
it, and
it
we
was so
froze
bad.
on Zoom too. And it's just, like, such a pivoting thing, like, you do have to pivot a lot and figure out what is gonna work for you or, like, you and your
Mhm.
business partner, and that's where I feel like that question of, like, how do you guys handle, like, hard conversations or things that come up? It's like we literally just have to look at all the pros and cons, have to
Mhm.
see how each other feels, and then decide on what we wanna do and, like, compromise because it's not all about, like, "Oh, well, I don't want that, so we both can't have that." Like,
Right.
we you have to compromise like any friendship, any relationship, any partnership. Like,
Mhm.
this is a partnership, and I feel like we both have that mindset being open to things, and I feel like we've only seen, like, the benefits of that because we have
Mhm.
been so open versus if we were like, "No, Riverside's the only thing because it's the number 1 platform," and then we all of a
Mhm.
sudden start with StreamYard, and there's, like, so many cool features. Now we're
Well, I was
discovering
gonna say too, like, if any we still do love Riverside. Like, I don't
Yeah,
have anything bad to say about the platform of
no,
Riverside itself. Like, if you use Riverside and you love it, I fucking love that for you. For
yeah,
us, the camera was just free and, like, it
yeah,
wasn't even like, "Oh, it happened once." Like, this was months, and, like, in that time,
mhm.
like, I got a different computer, my internet changed, like, we knew it wasn't things that we could change to make it better, and we, like, reached
Troubleshot
out to
everything, everything.
Yeah.
We had
Like,
10 emails going with support to try to
Yes,
figure it
it was
out, like,
insane.
it's not like we just called it quits, like, this was
No.
months and
It was, like, literally we're going on, like, 3 months of this being an issue, and, like,
Mhm.
even when we took the break, I think we had talked about, like, do we find something to, like, kind of come back to, and then I don't even know what happened, like, 2 weeks ago, I think we were just like, "Okay, we're fucking over this." Like,
Yeah.
it was
Well, you were
but
like,
even
"There's
then, like
StreamYard, I've never even heard about this," so it was
Oh, yeah,
nice
shout
when you
out to
tried
the it's
it.
a podcast that I listen to, it's called We Love to Hate Everything, they talk about it, and that's what they use to live stream, so shout out to them, I doubt they'll literally ever hear this, but shout out to you guys. Like you said, we were talking about, do we outsource to an editor? Because editing is just taking so long, and it's like by making that one switch, like, we could kind of pivot away from that conversation because switching to StreamYard kind of made it where it's not a huge pain in the ass to edit the episodes anymore.
Mhm,
So, like, it was just like that one change fixed, like, so many issues that we were having, and I just feel
mhm,
bad when somebody or, like, a business owner is, like, in that situation where you can't just make a change that you feel like would be best, and
mhm.
you never know. Sometimes the littlest changes will be what makes the biggest difference. Like, we literally were contemplating outsourcing a couple $100 a month for an editor, and then just by switching to a different platform, we don't really have to consider that expense immediately anymore. Like, it
Yep.
was to a point where we were like, "I think we need to do this, like, now,"
Mhm,
but then this kind of fixed it, and now it's like, well, editing is actually so easy
mhm.
that that's not an issue anymore, so
Yeah,
I
it
don't know,
was
I have
totally
a
throwing
little
us off. The amount we were freezing was, like it was multiple times in an episode. Even when we had guests, like, they would
Mhm.
freeze or, like, it would be
Yeah.
lagging behind, so, I don't know, we tried everything. We tried updating the browsers, we tried new browsers, we
Mhm.
tried, like, clearing the
Everything.
cache, clearing our history, like, new everything. Our internet was great, like, we did the speed tests. We literally did
Mhm.
everything under the sun, and that's what people don't talk about is having a podcast, I feel like, is this shit is
Right.
hard and, like, there is gonna be so many technical difficulties. Like, if we had a dollar every time we had a technical difficulty, it's, like, wild
Mhm.
to make sure that we're sounding good, where you, like, look good, especially on YouTube, like, we want the quality to
Mhm.
be there. So, it's a lot of work when you
And,
are
like, that was what like, I don't know if we did a good enough job of, like, hiding it that I don't know I'm sure people, like, picked up on it, but, like, in our previous episodes, like, up until, like, 3 episodes ago, there would be times where we literally would freeze and couldn't hear each other, like, in the middle of saying something, and then when it would catch back up, we would, like, very unnaturally try to continue the conversation, and it would just
Mhm.
end up with us, like I don't know, I feel like good points were getting lost. I feel like it was
Yes.
really hard for us to, like, bounce back and forth off of each other because, like, you would say
Yeah.
something and I'd wait for you to come back and be like, I don't know what you just said, but I'm sure I agree with it. Like, that
Mhm.
just sucks because like,
And
we
having to
didn't.
repeat yourself, so then you're double editing what I or
Mhm.
you just said, and then you
Yeah.
can't relay it in the same way as when you're first saying it,
Mhm.
like
Like,
anything.
even the length of our episodes, like, I don't know
Yes.
exactly how long this one will end up being today just because 'cause we're kinda going through it because we have a busy week with you coming here, but it's like even the length of the episodes, like, we didn't start scheduling more time to record. Like, this has always been over an hour long episodes that we're recording, but by the time we're cutting everything
Mhm.
out, they were cutting down to like 45-minute episodes. So like we were literally wasting 15 to 20 minutes for every hour we were recording, waiting for this shit to catch up to us. And it was incredibly frustrating. Like looking back now, like I wonder how many good points we had to like cut out of an episode because it just like stopped
Yeah.
recording the voice halfway through. Like it was so frustrating that
Mhm.
even just looking now, like again, we're not recording any longer than we were. We're just having to cut out less. And it's again,
Yeah.
I feel like been so good for our episodes and our flow. We don't have to like cut off and be like, okay, now we
Yes.
are going to talk about this. Like
Yeah, it's
to
so
like
nice.
weirdly have to connect these clips. It's just been I've been like on cloud nine for the last few weeks. So I
I
have to
love
tell you
that.
that it's
You
been a
deserve
great
that 'cause
you
it's
deserve that too.
it's so frustrating. It really is, and we want this to be an organic, like, conversation, like we normally
Mm,
would talk, and it just wasn't that. 'Cause, like, it's hard
mhm,
enough being remote, like, we're not there in person to, like, have the
mhm.
real-time reaction. Like, obviously, it's not the same as being in person, but
Right.
at least this is so much better than just, like, the constant pauses. That was frustrating. So, yeah, that was really great, and if you are having trouble with Riverside, try out StreamYard, but if you're loving Riverside, like, I know our friends who have a podcast are fine with it, and it's been
Oh,
good.
yeah, no, if it works for you, like, I
Yeah.
love it when it works for us, I loved it,
Yeah, it was
but
great.
then it just started consistently not working, and we were like, "Okay,
Yeah.
does this get better?" And then when they couldn't help us, I was kinda like, "Alright, we're over this."
Yeah. It's okay to pivot, it's okay to change because it could be better than you even expected.
Which is exactly what happened here.
Yep.
Kind of going back to what we said about having some things to talk about and just like some things we've been working on. I know we said last episode it would either be this episode or the next one where we're like officially announcing these things. Right now, I think it's looking like next episode probably just
Yes.
because we I hate saying it like we're not actively working on it, but we are waiting for our text line to be approved. So as soon as that, and we'll probably post about it on Instagram like as soon as we can. So keep an eye over there, but we will have the text lines open I'm gonna say by this next episode that comes out.
Yeah.
And then merch, we have finalized some new pieces. Our store is ready to open, but before we open it to public, we ordered some things for ourselves just to like quality control check.
Yes.
And they should be here again, if not by the next episode, by the next one. And as soon as we get them, like if we feel they are up to our standard, like we will go ahead and just like open that and maybe not wait for an episode, but you will obviously know on an episode as soon as both of those things are ready. So, both of those are way more set in stone now than they were last week. So, I feel like we did make a little progress on them.
Yeah. We are pumped. I mean, yeah, it's just waiting on other things. It's not like we've been putting it off. We got
Yeah, no, we're
everything.
waiting for approvals right now from everything and
Yes.
then we're
But
good
it's
to go.
very exciting. We'll let you guys know. Definitely follow us if you don't already on Instagram, socially unfiltered pod, because that's where we
Mhm.
will catch you up on everything that we're working on whenever
Yep.
things launch. All right,
Can't
to our
wait.
socially updated
Yes.
section. Kate fucking
I know we
Middleton.
have to talk about Kate Middleton this week because we were going to last week and then we did it, but now I
It's
think we do.
I know, and I wish we did last week now because I'm like, this is still happening. Yeah, so if you don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
Kate
Kate
Middleton is
Middleton is
missing.
missing.
She's just nowhere to be found since what was it, Christmas?
I
Or
believe it was Christmas was the last
yeah,
time she was
and the kids
seen.
also, important point is the kids are also
Mhm.
nowhere to be seen. So we have a
Mhm.
few theories.
Which, like, they could be locked in the palace, everything
Yeah.
could be fine, and they just don't feel like leaving the palace, but
Yeah.
what's made it so weird is, like, the BBC and, like, British publications are openly saying that, the palace is sharing these photos of Kate being like, "Look, she's fine," and the BBC and these publications are, like, proving that these photos of her are photoshopped, and they're
Yeah.
actively, like, killing the photos saying, like, "We will not publish this because we know it's not
Mhm.
real."
Yeah, and they're saying that it's because of a medical reason that she was in surgery and that she'll be back for Easter, but then in
Mm.
April, they also canceled something that she was supposed to be showing up
Mhm.
to. So that was weird, but there's like 2 theories and it's not my theories, like I agree with these theories. I've seen them on
Mhm.
TikTok. It's like one, it could definitely be like an actual medical thing and it's very serious and she's like but like also
Mhm.
how hard is it to just make a quick little video of you of like, "I'm good, I'm recovering." So that's the
Right.
weird part of it. And then the second one is
Unless
that
it's something like crazy face surgery.
well, they said it was abdominal. Palace sources tell people she's doing well after surgery. Yeah, she recovers from abdominal surgery, according to Kensington Palace spokesperson. So they said it was abdominal surgery. But then people are saying, like, well, she literally, like, the day she gave birth was like in heels and a dress and like was out with the
Right.
paparazzi. And like you're royal people, that's what you do. But then another
Mhm.
theory, which I think honestly could be the most accurate, is that William is having an affair with Rose, I forget her last name, and
Hanbury, I think it
yeah,
is.
that girl,
Now
and
I'm
people are like, "Kate isn't, like, up and leaving the palace, she literally didn't work this hard and didn't spend this long to almost become queen because she's right there. She's so close to
Mhm.
becoming queen. She's not giving that shit up. She said, "Oh, you wanna keep pulling this shit, William?" She's like, "I'm not it's not gonna be a Diana. There's not 3 of us in this marriage. Quit your shit. I'm leaving. I'm taking the kids." And she knows that his ranking will drop because he's about to become king, especially with the king having cancer right now. So she knows. So she's, like, playing this up and it's on him to like stop fucking playing around with Rose for her to come back because she's like, there's only going to be 2 of us in this marriage and I will become queen. And she knows what she's doing. And her like not showing up is obviously this is what's happening. And I think she's just putting the pressure on William, which I think
Mhm.
that is like the best supported theory. But again,
Oh,
like
yeah,
how
for
far do
sure.
you let these rumors get to? But then again, I'm like, that's fucking smart.
I know. That's why I definitely think that's, like, the most believable,
You would just think though, if she was doing that, like, she would have posted
the
something
best.
herself, like, "Why are you making AI photos and pretending that it's her posting it?" And then, like,
Right.
saying that she's playing or she plays around with Photoshop, like, I fucking highly doubt that she has Adobe Photoshop downloaded on her computer. Like, come on.
In between royal family duties,
Yeah,
she's just
like, please.
photoshopping her photos for fun.
Mhm.
But then I even said that to you too, I think I'm like, and then if it's something that they're, like, paying somebody to do for them, like, they need to reevaluate who they're
I
having
know.
Photoshop these
Like,
photos for
I
them 'cause
could
they're
do a
really
better
bad.
job. I could do a
They're
better job.
really bad.
They're so bad. I'm like,
They're
how does that photo had to have gone through so many people to get approved to be sent
Right.
in? How did no one see the fucking fingers are all messed up and like the lighting on her
Did
face and
you So I found these TikToks, or I got these TikToks on my For You page of this girl who went back and found old photos of Kate and the kids. One of them was from them, like, volunteering during Thanksgiving or whatever,
yeah.
but in the Photoshop photo that they shared, they're basically all wearing the same outfits, but in different colors.
Mhm.
So this girl literally went through and, like, found where, like, the daughter is wearing the same shoes and the same tights and the same outfit, but it's, like, black instead of red. Like,
Yeah.
basically all they did was Photoshop the colors of the outfits compared to this one specific day, and I mean, it matched up pretty good, but I also am somebody
I love
who
that people just do that for us.
I love that people have the time for that.
It's so great. But
I
also,
mean, I
like,
don't know.
somebody commented, they're like, "Everyone who has kids knows that you're not getting all 3 of them to pose and smile like that."
Exactly. Multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I
it's
wanna believe
crazy.
the Masked Singer thing so bad just because I think
I
that would be so fucking funny of her to do that, but I don't know.
You would
And
just
then
think,
did you
though,
see
that
the
she would have a video prepared because she would know that something like this would happen. Like, people keep tabs on the royal family. Like, you're not just a celebrity, you're the royal
right.
fucking family. Like, people keep tabs on what you're doing, where you are, paparazzi, like
And that's why I think this whole thing is so weird.
yeah.
Because
Really
why would
think
they
she's,
be
like, plotting against William, and she's like, "No, get your shit together."
I mean, I do think that that makes the most sense. I just really want her to be a character on The Masked Singer so
I mean,
bad. So
that
bad.
the helicopter flew in or something?
Yeah, so I just saw a TikTok yesterday saying, like, they were reporting that a random, like, helicopter was flying into the palace and nobody really knew why. Um,
I mean, honestly, by this time next week, we'll probably have more information that we
I was gonna
have
say.
didn't talk about today because I feel like stuff comes out really fast. So, if we didn't cover something, it's probably because it's happened in this
Yeah,
following week by
since
the
we've
time you hear this
recorded.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll obviously keep our eyes and ears open for some updates on that. I just realized, this might have been me, but, like, I skipped over, something in catch up corner. We Quiet on Set came out yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so Ethan and I watched the first so it's 2 parts. The first part was last night and the second part is tonight. Ethan and I did watch the first part last night, but I'm not gonna watch the second part until you have already watched the first part and, like, we'll watch them together. Or we could watch it while you're here. But
Yeah.
I just
I'm
wanted
down.
to say because I didn't confirm this last week. This was just what made me think of this. So, Quiet on Set, you can watch it on Max. Like, if you have the Max streaming app, you can watch it on Discovery Plus. You can go to the ID website, and if you have a cable login, you can log in and watch it. And then if you have Hulu or Prime, you can add on Max to that. So, there's lots and lots of ways to watch this. Mind blown from the first half. Like, they end it right before they bring Drake Bell out, of
Of
course.
course.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
But the things that they are talking about, like, I have never heard a lot of this, and I feel like I have gone down this rabbit hole quite a few times, and
Yeah.
it's absolutely fucking insane. It is insane. Do we maybe want to maybe give people a couple weeks to watch it and us to watch it and come back and talk about it in a few
Yeah.
weeks?
I would say
Okay, cool.
yes. So, we can all finish it and then have
Take the
our
time.
debrief. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet because I was just working last night, so I didn't watch anything. I did see, like, clips this morning, like, I was on TikTok and I saw a lot of clips about Amanda Bynes, and it's just, like, ugh, it's so fucking sad. I feel like we need to do a whole deep dive on Amanda Bynes, but I also feel like people will see it all on this show,
Mhm.
so, yeah, let's all watch Quiet on Set, um,
If you're interested in
but
it.
yeah,
I
if you
mean
want to,
if you
but
want. We're not, forcing you or anything. But it was the first half was absolutely insane. I'm gonna wait to watch the second half until you have already watched the first half so that I don't have to sit with all of this information.
we
Um,
could also watch it together while I'm there if you want.
that's what I was gonna say because Ethan also now wants to watch the second half too. So
Perfect.
he's like
Our little
waiting.
family activity when I'm there.
Yeah. It's just
Perfect.
it's on tonight at 9 o'clock on a Monday night, and I'm not watching anything at 9 o'clock on a Monday night. So, I just wanted to throw that in there. I didn't wanna, like, talk too much about it, but I just completely skipped over it, and the only reason I wanted to say
Guided
it was because
through
last
this.
week I said I wasn't entirely sure where you could find it, and I figured it out. So,
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
got that. Well, should we slide into DMs unfiltered?
Oh, we didn't talk
Because
about TikTok yet either. Back to socially
oh
updated.
my god, sorry, I keep
The
doing this.
TikTok.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
so,
so
the bill has passed to
Mhm.
and I hate that people are saying it's banned TikTok. It's not. It's just
It's
giving up
not.
ownership. So, for those who don't know, ByteDance owns TikTok. They are a Chinese company, and really this is all about security and privacy, which is hilarious because Meta has been taking our fucking data and selling it and being sued for years and years and years. And whatever you opt in to share anything to a social media platform is taking your data. So it's just
I mean,
about
we literally
them.
were just setting up PayPal a little while
Yeah.
ago, and the button instead of submit said share my data. Like, it said share my data or cancel. Like,
Mhm.
it's not just TikTok, and that's what makes me mad
No.
is, like, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
and it's
everywhere.
just because it's not owned by the American government. Like, they want
Yeah.
to own it so they can control it. It's about the conversations, it's about what we're finding out on TikTok in real time. It's about every update politically, world issue, war, like, everything that we can
Mhm.
find out that is not filtered and censored, they don't like that. They don't like that they can't push their agenda. So, we're gonna get, like, taken out for this shit.
I know we're gonna
That is what
get
it's about. It's not but the bill has passed, which is so funny because I saw somebody say too, they're like, "Wow, like, the unemployment rates and the cost of living and
guns, drugs,
yeah, people
homeless.
don't have water, people don't have food," but how fast this got passed into a
Mhm.
bill is scary when
Weird.
there's real world issues going on
Mhm.
that take months, years to even go into effect. But this
Mhm.
now gets pushed to Congress, which they said they're like, "We're not in a rush," and you said it perfectly, you're like, "It's so funny that they're saying they're not in a rush, but they rushed to get this into a bill." But if this is a national security issue, like, why wouldn't they
Why is it
rush it?
not rushed?
Why is it not yeah, I don't understand.
Because all I'm getting from that is it's not as serious of an issue that you need to rush it.
Yeah,
So,
right.
like, which is it? And I also wanna say too, like, I feel like this is such a fine line that we can walk with, like, I know we get on here and talk about, like, some funny or, like, silly conspiracy theories or whatever, but, like, I just want it to be known that me personally, speaking for myself, I don't wanna say I'm speaking for you, but I think you'll agree, we know that, like, at the end of the day, it is so much deeper than TikTok. It's
Yeah,
not just about TikTok. There are other corporations, there are other, contracts between companies that we will never see. There are Congress people that have stock in Meta that would only
mhm,
benefit from TikTok being taken down. Like, we understand that there are a million layers to this, and I think the reason that I know for myself why I was talking the way I was on my story is because what directly affects me right now, and I'm very privileged to say this, is TikTok being taken away. Like,
mhm,
that's what affects me right now. So that's what I am loudly talking about. But we kind of talked about this last week too. Like, you can't expect somebody to even be educated about all of the parts. So, like, when I'm getting these DMs back that are like, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? I'm like, first of all, don't come at me, educate me. Like, if you
yeah,
think I'm missing something, don't come at me like I'm a fucking idiot for not
yeah,
thinking that way. Explain to me what I'm missing in a way that makes me interested to hear your opinion on things. When we talk about this, I don't want it to sound like we are ignorant or like not acknowledging that there are other parts to this because there are. It's just like
yes,
time wise we can only talk about so much. And also, what is directly affecting us is TikTok being taken away potentially. So, like,
mhm,
again, privilege that that's what's affecting me,
yeah,
but it's my literal job. It's what we surround ourselves with every day. So, like, I'm going to talk about that part.
mhm,
I also, if I can save somebody from having to fucking sit there and Google and figure out, okay, well, what happens to a bill after House
right,
passes it? Like, does it go, like, if I can save somebody from that, fucking save them from that because that was
right.
not a fun rabbit hole to go down. But
And I, like, hate and I sent you a video to you too that this girl posted, and she was like, "TikTok has officially been banned in the United
yeah,
States." And then she goes,
it's
"Well,
not.
not yet." And that was her hook to get people into listening to what she had to say, and that's the hard part is finding sources that you trust and that are actually sharing real information that aren't just trying to hook you in for content or bait you into a video. Like, we're not over here posting like TikTok just got banned in the US.
Like,
Like,
that's
did you hear?
insane.
Like, that is
Clickbait.
just so clickbaity, so
Can't
inauthentic.
stand it.
I hated
You're a
that.
trash
I
human
hated
if you do
that.
that.
I'm like, "This is just for your own benefit," and, like, this isn't funny, it's not something you need to clickbait for, like, it's if you actually are genuinely wanting to be a resource and a guide for people who follow you, like, why?
Why are you saying that?
Yeah, it's just
And
so
that's
weird.
I even said, like, on my story that day that I was talking about this, is like, I'm not trying to say this in a way where it's, like, to put anybody into a panic. I'm not trying to be like, this is something you need to deal with right this second. But, like, I think there are things that we can do that if something like that ever does happen, it makes the blow a little less aggressive, but then
Mhm.
also it's just, I think, important to like be updated on what bills are going through Congress and what's being passed. And like what we see with the internet right now, we are never going to see this again. We are only going to experience what we're experiencing right now one time. Like
Yeah.
we are never going to see another bill like what just went through Congress for the first time again. Like that was the
Yeah.
first time, or like when they wanted to do the Restrict Act. Like I just don't think people realize how crazy that was and like
Mhm.
what that was going to change for us. That I'm
Yeah.
not saying like, oh, I spend my time like, researching about Congress and bills and blah blah blah. And I'm not any better for anybody because I like took 2 seconds to Google something. But I just think it's important to like stay updated with what could potentially change your entire life tomorrow. And
Yeah.
again, I don't think we say any of this in like a panicky way. It's just happening and
Yeah.
just something that I
Don't put
think
all your
everybody
eggs
should
in one basket, like we always
keep
say,
your tabs
like
on it.
yeah, and make sure
Mhm.
you're posting to Instagram. Start like an email list, like we said in the last episode. Start a text message
Mhm.
list so you don't lose everything. Because again, any social media platform could shut down for the day or decide that all your content is now theirs. Like they can take whatever they want and it's literally all in the thing in the agreement that you sign when you give them
Mhm.
your data and your privacy. Like you give up all of that. So whatever you think is yours, whatever you think you own, you don't. So it's not to scare you, it's to literally just be realistic of like this
Yeah.
shit can happen and like this is kind of the first like age and generation of how fast the internet is growing and moving and like AI can now do so much and it's actually scary. Like the picture you take, like people can literally take your photo that you posted maybe in real time, put it into an AI generator and it can tell you the exact location of where that photo was taken and we
Mhm.
posted that to our story, because is it Killer Bee Tactical, I think on TikTok
Mhm.
who we follow? He's, like, amazing for all safety and, like, keeping
Love
you
him.
updated. He's the best, you should follow him. But he posted about that and just how fast AI is improving and social media is changing, like, be so careful. It's not to scare you, it's literally just to keep you aware and safe. So,
Mhm. Yeah, we're not trying to like freak out. I don't think it's something you need to worry about literally this week or truly even like this month, but like maybe make it a summer goal that you're gonna
yeah.
start collecting emails, start collecting phone numbers, start posting to YouTube shorts, like cross post your
Mhm.
content. It's just being realistic
Yep.
because it's not fun to think about, but like literally everything we know could be different tomorrow. And
Yep.
that just
And it's
is
our
what it is.
jobs, and it's scary,
And
but
it's our jobs. I know, I'm like, I'm not just like Googling Instagram bills for fun or
yeah.
TikTok bans for fun. I'm like, I feel like this is something that I should be updated on, like
Yeah.
given our industry and stuff. But um
Yes.
I just feel there's a lot of people to like I feel worse for than myself if TikTok gets banned because I don't make my full-time income from there. So I just
Right.
know that there's a lot of people that it would like rock their fucking world and that makes me so sad for them.
Yeah, their
But
businesses and yeah, their
it's
creative
kinda just
outlet.
pros and cons of the space though. Like,
Mhm. It is what it is.
it is what it is. Oh,
It
well,
is what it is.
on
Okay.
that note,
Yeah, now we can
let's go
get
to our
into
DMs finally.
our DMs unfiltered. You got some DMs?
Okay, so this had like a huge long backstory with it, but the main point that it boiled down to was have I or you, because this was directed to both of us, um, ever ended a contract early or like approached the conversation of a client being like, I'm not gonna resign when this contract is over. My immediate response was, yeah, I
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, I have, and I don't feel bad about it anymore. I definitely did in the beginning. But the reason I wanted to include this one is because I think it shows the importance of like what we talk about sometimes. Like, I do all of my contracts month to month for that reason. Like, I like to let myself have like the out if something isn't working or something just isn't like flowing anymore. I can also give my client a notice. So I have definitely done that. I personally have never ended a contract like early in the middle of it, like
Yeah.
and had to like fight that, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, but that's just a benefit that I do of all month to month. But there's also the downside of that, that like they can turn around and do the same thing to me. Anybody can leave me whenever they want.
Have I ended a contract early?
You
Yes.
have?
Yeah, with one girl who it was, like, minimal, like, I was just editing her videos, or it was, like, 8 videos a month or something, I was just editing
Mhm.
them, and, I mean, it came down to the point where I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I can edit 8 videos a month for you for X amount," and I did it for a month, and it was hell. It was taking me longer to work with this person than it was taking me with my full-time clients. Like, it
The
was, like,
revisions,
to the
yeah.
point where you hire somebody that is a professional and you trust that, the way they edit this video is going to work on your platform and for your audience. It was, like, to the point where it's like, "Please crop zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.8." And then it was like, "Please insert number 3 video from 1.06 to 179." Like, it was just so meticulous, and I'm like,
Absurd details.
it would take us less time for you to just edit it the way you want, like, here's CapCut and take it from whatever points you want, than for me to do it, because
Mhm.
it was just not working, and I just reached out and I was like, "Listen, I'm happy to finish out the month with you, but, like, I can't move forward for the next 2 months," because it was, like, a 3-month thing that I was doing with
Yeah.
her, and after the 1st month, I was like, at the end of the month, I was like, "Listen, I just think that this isn't working out, like, I can't provide you clearly with, like, the vision that you're looking for," and I just kind of blame
Mhm.
it on myself if
I
I'm
always
doing
blame
that.
it on my
I'm like, "Listen, I just don't think the vision aligns, and you might be better off just,
Mhm.
like, either finding somebody else that could, have the time to be able to do these revisions, or you just do it yourself because, like, you have a vision, clearly."
Mhm.
So yeah, I
And it's
ended
funny
that
'cause
contract early.
we've talked about it too, where, like, if we were to outsource, like, I feel like that would be my problem, where I would spend more time explaining how I
Mhm.
want something done than to just do it myself, which
Yeah,
isn't a great mindset to be in, but I would hate if I was that person who, like,
right.
my social media manager was, like, stressed about getting the text from me, or, like, I don't know, I don't think I'd be that bad, but, like,
Yeah.
it's a hard situation to be in for sure. But yeah, I've definitely
Yeah.
ended them early, and I always blame it on myself, or I just
Mhm.
say like, I'm having some things change around on my back end, like I'm having to just like condense the amount of work that I'm doing. I
Yeah.
don't really ever like try to make somebody feel bad. There have been like 2 or 3 people that have ended just because they were like so
Yeah.
not the vibe, but I
Yeah,
try
most
not
of
to
the
like
time that mine have ended is, like, the budget, or, like,
yeah.
my price increases and they can no longer afford it, and it's always ended,
Mhm.
like, pretty amicably, but, like, for me,
Yeah,
I do 6-month-long contracts, so I do, like, differently than you, the month to month, which I see pros and cons of both of them. Like,
for sure.
I mean, before I used to have, like, a 30-day notice, so, like, you tell me
Mhm.
30 days before, I tell you 30 days before if we wanna stop working together. And I still have that with some clients, with some that, like, I know are just good to work with, like, I lock them in for
Mhm.
6 months, and I'm like, "Alright,
Yeah,
if we're committing, we're committing. This is a long-term game," that I'm like, "We can't just do it for a month and then call it quits."
right.
So that's how, like, my contracts are set up, but you can do, like, whatever works for you
Mhm.
and whatever you're comfortable with. If, like, the month to month obviously works for you, like, it works. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, there's been times where you don't resign, and there's been times where you do, and things change. I just resigned with one of my clients, and it's always, like, nerve-wracking, though, when you're about to resign, you're like, "Are they gonna?"
Yeah.
Which, like, there's no reason they shouldn't, but, like, I don't know. Something in the back of my mind is always like, "Oh my god, what if they don't want to?"
I know. That's the
Mhm.
little hint of doubt is back there. I'm like, "What if they actually, like, secretly hate everything we've been
I
doing?"
know.
Like
I know. It's always nerve-wracking.
I think that's all I got for today. My brain is at
Yep.
capacity.
Yep. Well, that was great. We
About
made up an
time.
hour and 15 minutes, so that's good, without a main topic. It was the first 25 minutes us talking about fucking therapy, so there we go, and
We also don't
hypnosis.
ever do that, and I feel like we've said that on here before. I'm like, we usually come, like, so prepared because 'cause I'm leaving all that in. I think, like, we usually come
Yeah.
so prepared. It's like, today we
It
just knew we
sounded
were
like we
gonna
were prepared for that conversation, honestly.
I mean, listen, I'm always
But
prepared to talk about therapy because I think everybody in the world needs to go.
mhm. Whatever comes to mind. More organic, more natural. Well, we will see you guys next week when I will be with Lex physically. Can't wait.
Yep. We'll be here.
6 days.
6 days. Talk to you guys next week. We love you so much.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging. If you aren't sick of us yet, jump over to the Socially Unfiltered Pod Instagram.
Check out the Social Media Manager Blueprint.
And everything else you'll need can be found in the show notes.
And we'll see you next Monday.